Hello and welcome. This is Christina Hills with the Website Creation Workshop, and welcome to this training on the Non-Techie roadmap to website success. And my name is Christina Hills. I am an international WordPress coach and teacher, and my passion and gift is teaching technology and making it easy. My corporate background was as a visual effects artist. I worked for Industrial Light and Magic, and I worked on Star Wars, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and Jurassic Park. And this is my IMDb page. And the most famous film I worked on was Star Wars. So I worked for George Lucas's company, and it was a really fun job to have. And so I just wanted to mention that here, and I love all things visual, and so that's why I was in the visual effects industry, and now I'm in the web design industry. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the roadmap. And in this day and age, you need a website if you're a coach, consultant, speaker, author, healer, or independent expert. And if you can just type in the chat and just say what you are. I know we have a lot of coaches here. And so if you can find the chat, just want to type in if you're an author or what you are, a coach. And there's all different kinds of coaches, lots of healers, writers. Some of you are all of the above. All right, well, you are here to see if I can show you a way to create a good-looking website yourself. Now, maybe right now you don't have a website at all. I know there's people here without a website at all. Or perhaps you have a website right now, but it's hard to use or you're not happy with it. Either way, you're probably missing out on a lot of business opportunities because of it, because you don't have a website. And because maybe if you've got a website, it doesn't represent you well, it doesn't attract new coaching clients or new consulting clients or new speaking gigs, or it doesn't offer your services or programs, your courses or your books. So for those of you who've got a website, maybe you're just not happy with it. And for those of you who want a new website, you want one that's easy to use, looks great, and doesn't cost a lot. So is that right? I think I've hit the nail on the head there. Well, today I'm going to show you my roadmap to website success so that you don't just jump in the car and start driving, right? And meandering all over the place and not knowing exactly what you're doing. All right, so let me go through some of the typical mistakes that people make when they're building a website for the first time. So a lot of people will focus on the design and layout without thinking about what content they have to put on their pages. Or some people, a mistake, they don't have an idea of what their site is about. Or they spend too much time creating and perfecting everything, which can cause delays and overwhelm. So do any of you suffer from perfectionism, that you got to have things perfect before you can kind of move forward to the next step? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. The other typical mistake is, or the typical path is setting up hosting and installing WordPress without knowing what you're doing. So, let's face it, web hosting can be very, very confusing. All right, so here's often what people go through when they want to get a website. They say, "Ooh, I'm going to buy a domain name because I need a website. Darn, all the domain names I want are taken. Well, I guess I'll buy this one with all the hyphens or the .biz extension that GoDaddy suggests, since the ones I want are gone." Right? Does this kind of sound familiar? All right, so I'm going to sign up for a web hosting account because I heard that I got to have that, and that's where my website goes. Okay, but which one? Which web hosting account? And how much do I need to spend per month? And do I need a private server, or what is shared hosting, or what's a name server? Have any of you gone through this with these different terms? All right, well, so now I got a web hosting account. I just picked something, right? This is a typical path. But how do I connect my domain name that I already bought years ago to my web host? And there's a lot of things to click in here, but where do I start and where's the step-by-step instructions? And where do I start making my web pages? All right, so now what I do. What do I do? So at this point, you're feeling very lost and frustrated because you don't know what to do. And you don't know how to do these things. And you don't know what order to do them in. And you don't have endless hours of time to spend on this, which is really boring and techie. But let me tell you, you don't have to go through all of this alone. So I want to give you my visual approach way to building a website. So this is the roadmap that I've developed personally, and I use it in my own business. And it starts with what's called a mind map. Mind map. Put in the chat, do you know what a mind map is? Or have you heard of the term a mind map? So a mind map is a visual way to organize information or explain a concept. So when you're building a website, this mind map will help you think through what needs to be done, how different elements are related with each other, and how to prioritize them. So I'm going to go through the 5 components of building a website with this mind map. And when you're building your site, or when you're thinking of creating a website, you've got this creative swirl of ideas. Right, so the creative process, things can be sort of messy in the beginning, but then it all will pull together. So as creative entrepreneurs that we are, and you don't have to be an artist to be a creative person, right? So a creative person likes to create things, and creating a website is a creation process. So let me go through, I'm going to go through these 5 key components to building a website, and I'm going to follow through this map. And you'll notice on this map, you've got web hosting, and that's typically where people start. But the way I teach website building, that's the last thing you do. And I'll explain how that happens. But let's first start with what we start first with. I'll go through the order and then I'll go through each step. Is your idea, right? What is your idea? The second step is your content, putting your content in. Even if you don't know all of your content, you want to get some of your content in. Then you want to think about your site organization, how you're going to organize all this content. And then number 4 is your design, the look and feel of your site. And then you do web hosting. All right, so let me go through these each one step at a time. Your idea, right? So let's talk about your idea. So you've got an idea for your website, or you've already got your website, but you want to think about the purpose of your website. So it's important to flesh out the idea of your website to know exactly what you want to accomplish on your site. So what is your site about? And who is your audience? You know, some people, just a little side note, some people are building websites for products or courses for kids, but really the audience is the parents, right? So even though the program is for the kids, the audience is the parents who are going to purchase from you. So you want to think about that. Maybe your audience skews male or audience skews female. But knowing the purpose for your site and what role you want it to play in your business will affect your other decisions you make. It will also make those decisions easier, so you want to start with this step. So thinking about your website, this is big picture idea. What do you want your website visitors to do on your site? Do you want them to make a purchase? Do you want them to give you a call? Do you want them to sign up for a discovery session? And, one thing I've got missing here is, do you want them to opt in for your freebie? The other thing you want to think about your website is, will you have user interaction? Right? So do you want your website visitors interacting with you on your website, like commenting on your blog post? Or maybe it's a membership site and the user interaction is somebody's going to log in. Now, I say this comes in the idea stage, but this is something you can decide later. You don't have to know this all up front. But generally, sometimes I build a site and I'm like, okay, I'm going to build a site and there's going to be no commenting. I want to keep it simple. I don't want commenting. And other times, like on my website creation workshop blog, I have commenting turned on because I want user interaction. So again, don't stress about this part. You can think about it later. All right, so that was your idea. Now let's talk about your content. All right, so your content is mostly the words on your page. So this is going to be the meat of your website. So content is words, pictures. I have a slide for that. Depending upon the purpose of your site, you'll need different types of content, which in turn will affect other aspects of building your site, like the design. But you want to think about your content. So here's some examples. Will you have pages? Everybody has web pages, but are you going to have blog posts? Are you going to have your blog or your tips or your newsletter? Are you going to add videos to your site? Will you have audio on your site? Are you going to have images? I recommend people have images. Are you going to have sidebars? And sidebars you typically see on the right-hand side column. And you don't have to have all these things, but this is what you want to think about. What things do you think you want to have? And again, you can add stuff as you go. The main part of a website are usually words and images. Right, words and images. So, all right. Number 3 is website organization. So we've got the idea, we've got some content in there. Now we're going to talk about website organization. So how is your website laid out? And I went through this in the Essential Pages training that I just did a few days ago. And so this is a typical organization. You've got a home page, then you have other pages sort of in your top menu, and I'll show you that. And then you can have different sub pages, like different programs. Maybe you do coaching or courses, or then on your blog you've got different articles. So even if you build a site with pages and pages of content, right? Let's say you have a lot of content. Your website visitors will not be able to navigate easily or even find the content without the right organization. So it's important to carefully plan the organization with your visitors in mind. Now, with that being said, let me go to the next slide. You don't have to know all your pages up front. You just want to get kind of an idea of the structure. So this is a screenshot of the website creation workshop, and you can see at the top I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, but I have many, many, many more pages on my site. Underneath programs, there is a drop down, right? So you might have a drop down on your site. So this is called site organization. It's also referred to as site hierarchy. So here's the hierarchy. I have these sub pages underneath programs or services, navigation and menus. That's a term used interchangeably. Underneath your blog, you'll have different articles. Okay, let's move on to design, right? So we're up to number 4, which is design. So you've got the idea, you've got your content, you've kind of organized things the way you think you want to have them organized. And now you want to look at your design. So there's a reason that companies spend enormous amounts of time and money on branding and design, and why they pay attention to the psychology of color. So there's a psychology of different colors on your site. Website design has a huge impact on how well your website resonates with an audience, and you definitely want a design that will resonate with your ideal client. With the right design, you can attract and keep visitors on your site, and together with the organization, increase the usability. So usability is how people know how to use or what to do on your site. And here are some of the most important components you should think about as you build your website: the layout, the visuals, and the colors. So let me show you 2 examples of 2 of my students. Just here is Deborah, and she is a business coach. And so she has this blue colors that gives more of like an authority. Blue is very calming, very authority site. Compare her to one of my other students who built this spiritual website, which has reds and yellows and oranges, and it's very vibrant and really expressing who she is. So 2 different people with 2 different goals, 2 different vibes, 2 different feelings from their site. So that is the design that you want to think about. All right, so now I'm going to move on to web hosting, and this is how I teach it. And I'll explain to you in a little bit how we can do website hosting last. So let's talk about website hosting. So when you want to build a website, you need to set up website hosting. This is mainly technical work that non-techie people typically don't feel comfortable doing. In fact, this is where a lot of people get stuck as they try to figure out how hosting works and what all the jargon means. And I know some of you are nodding your head right now with like, yeah, it's complicated. So, at this point, when you're getting web hosting, you've got to figure out your domain name, what web hosting company, and software updates. And so what I want to do right now is give you an overview of how websites work. Okay, just a little overview. So you want to think of your website as your home on the internet. And your home has an address, right? Websitecreationworkshop.com, ChristinaHills.com, graphicscreationworkshop.com. So your domain name is your address to your home, right? So you need a domain name. Many people go to GoDaddy, some people go to Namecheap. There's lots and lots of different places to go to buy your domain name. And you'll also need web hosting. So here's a few hosting companies that I like: Bluehost, SiteGround, and GreenGeeks. Right? So you've got your domain name, you've got a web hosting company, then you need the software. And WordPress WordPress comes in your hosting company. So let me show you how this works. All right, so your web hosting company stores your stuff. And WordPress is the software that organizes your stuff. That's what the website is built in. And your domain name is the address of all your stuff. Then the browser on your computer, that displays your stuff, right? So when you type in your domain name, right? So when somebody types in your domain name, then it goes and looks it up, goes into the internet, looks it up, looks up your site, serves up the page, that's the technical term, it serves up the page from the hosting company, and then your browser displays it. So that is how it works behind the scenes, the techie part of that, of how somebody types in your site in the web browser, the internet goes through the internet up in the cloud, figures it out, and then serves it up and displays it on your site. So that is the web hosting part of it, the techie part. So I want to talk about my roadmap that I'll take you on in the website creation workshop, the way I teach it. So our roadmap, we go together, we go kind of in this order. And let me tell you web designers' secret method. So web designers have the secret method to make this easy, and that's, they're very expensive to work with, and I have adopted that, and this is called the sandbox method. Sandbox method. So in my training in the website creation workshop, and I'm going to open enrollment next week, we provide each of the students their own student project, their own sandbox. It's a fully functioning practice website that's pre-installed on our own hosting, and this means that decisions like who should I use for hosting or what should my domain name be can be left until the very end. Or it lets you leave alone the site you already have while you're learning. So I know there's people here who've spent money, somebody else built them a site, and they just don't know how to change and update it. So in the sandbox method, you learn WordPress and you build your website in a private area, we refer to as a student project, that's hidden from the public. This frees you up to focus on being creative and getting your essential pages done. And this is also how you rebuild an existing website without losing your content or your customers, because you don't change your actual website. And then later on, after you've learned how to use WordPress and you have put in all your content and the design, then you can decide your domain name and web hosting, right? I'm sure you've bought multiple domain names because you've got an idea for your site and you haven't decided which one. So this sandbox method is how the pros build websites. It's also referred to as a staging site. We like to call it a sandbox because I want you to feel creative and free. So web designers build their client's website on these private sites hidden from the public while it's under construction. And with this method, you can either have no website or already have a website, and the process is the same. So if you don't have a website, great, you don't have to get hosting, you don't have to do anything. And you can get started. And if you already have a website, then you can leave it alone and not worry about messing it up. So the process we go through is everybody starts with their basic idea, and then you create some sample web pages, and we give you a test copy to use. Then you create some test blog posts. You'll add pictures to your site. You'll organize your site and the menus. Then you'll go into the design of the look and feel of your website. Then you'll come in and put in your actual content. So we give you dummy content, placeholder content, so that frees you up from perfectionism. And then as the site comes together, then you'll put in your actual content. And then your website goes live on your own hosting, so that you can create a website that reflects your true nature as a soul-inspired person. All right, so where should you start? So next week, I'm going to be doing an in-depth WordPress training. So there are 3 different days. You can come to the training. It's going to be the same training, but there'll be different questions, right? So let me go through what I'm going to cover in that in-depth masterclass, and I'll also be taking questions here at the end. So why WordPress? I'll be going over why WordPress, why not Wix or Squarespace or Weebly or one of those others. I'll be doing a demonstration of creating a WordPress page. So if you can type, you can create, and that will be a live demonstration. I'm also going to be talking about theme designs with WordPress and how they make a beautiful website, and they're super easy, and I'll do a live demonstration of that. Then I'm going to be showing lots of case studies of students who've built websites and some of their examples. And this is a really fun one. I'm going to teach you how to embed a YouTube video in your website. I'll be doing that live demonstration. So whether you have your own YouTube channel or not, it doesn't matter. I'll show you how to do it. And this screenshot, I found this really funny comedy sketch on remembering passwords, so I wrote a blog post about it, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. And I'll also go more into details about the website creation workshop that's opening for enrollment next week. And so you'll want to pick your date and sign up now for that in-depth training. And today's training is much shorter because it is a holiday weekend. But I think Joanna put the link into the chat, so websitecreationclass.com/webinars. And I know there's going to be a lot of questions right now, so I am going to go to questions. All right.
Okay, sounds great. We had a question from Linda. Linda says she has a domain name and GoDaddy hosting, and was wondering if you think that's reasonable.
I'm in favor of getting your domain name from GoDaddy. Let me back up. I like to teach with pictures, so I like to have a picture in front of me when I talk. Let me go back. Hold on. Because I got animation here, it's a little bit slow.
Okay.
Okay,
And while you're
so this is for everybody. I think it is much better for you. I believe it is much better for you to have your domain name registered one place and your hosting in a separate place. It is better to have two different companies. Now, if you already have your domain name at GoDaddy, keep it at GoDaddy. Do not transfer your domain name somewhere else. You could have your hosting at GoDaddy, but their hosting is typically not that great. So I usually recommend people keep their domain name at GoDaddy or wherever they have it and get your hosting somewhere else. And I'm going to get out of PowerPoint because it's too hard to move around. I do want to mention about the in-depth training. If you can't make any of those times, still go ahead and sign up, because then that way we'll know that you're interested so we can send you a replay.
okay.
All right, let me bring the question box up here.
Yes, and I did want to mention if anybody has any questions about the presentation, feel free to go ahead and type those in. So our next question is from Frederick, and Frederick says, I wish to have our website upgrades in Squarespace. What is the advantage of having the new site developed in WordPress?
So I'm going to be going more deeply into that, Frederick, next week. So if you can come to that, I'll go through that. I have a whole bunch of slides and training next week on that.
Okay, perfect. And James was wondering, will you be teaching how to build an affiliate website?
So an affiliate website, that's really interesting, James. Um, an affiliate website is a website. Now, I'm not sure what you mean exactly. So there's different ways. There could be different things you're talking about, James. So maybe you can clarify. Do you mean you want a website? And let me go to, no, oh, this is for the webinars for next week. And you just pick one of them. That's not where I wanted to go. I want to go to, hold on, creationworkshop.com blog. So I'm going to go to my website. I'm going to go to my blog. So Frederick, are you saying you want a website where all your content is promoting other people's products? To promote affiliate products and services. Yes. So
Right.
in the
Yes.
website creation workshop, your whole purpose could be an affiliate site, meaning James is going to create content and build a following around. And James, if you want to say what the market is, let's just say you're a healer or healing. That could be products, it could be yoga, it could be health and wellness. So let's say you want to build a health and wellness site. You can build a website and everything you're promoting. So like this blog post was about my non-techie roadmap. And there is a PDF download, and I'll show you that in a minute. So here's my blog post, and in the end, I'm telling people to register. Well, you could have a blog post or articles, and they're all about um, different products, different services. So yes, you can create that. Hopefully, I answered that. Wason, I see, is asking, what's the difference between the 3 days next week? It is
Yes.
going to be the same content. So you don't have to come to all 3 days. You're welcome to if you want to. So the presentation will be the same, but depending upon the Q&A, it sort of changes a little bit. But you really don't need to. Just pick one. Oh, James, I guessed
Okay.
right that you were interested in health and wellness.
Yeah. Software,
Yeah.
other people's courses and trainings.
I
Okay.
knew this gal years ago, and her whole business was affiliate marketing. She didn't have any of her own programs. She just built up a following and would make recommendations. So you can, James, you can definitely do that. Okay, Joanna, back to you with the questions.
Yes. Linda was wondering if you teach how to transfer to a different hosting company. She's interested in the course.
So we will not only will we teach you how to transfer, but let me get my picture back up. We will do that part for you, and I'll go into more detail about that. So people build their site. My students build their site in this sandbox practice area, and then when they're ready and they're done, and we check over your site, make sure everything looks good, we will help you move it into your own hosting company. And I'll go more into depth about that, but we'll do that for you, and we also teach you if you want to do it yourself.
Okay. And Beth says, I have a website. So you're saying I can completely build a new site without interrupting the current website and then change it out. Is that difficult to do?
No, that's not difficult to do, and that's one of the when I'll go into depth about what's exactly included in my course, that's one of the bonuses that we provide. So one of the bonuses we provide is you build and I'll show examples of how we walk through this, but whatever website you have, you leave it alone, don't touch it. We set up this sandbox area for you. You go through the process of, learning to create pages and blog posts and add pictures. You go through that process, and then when you're ready, you know, we'll take your new site and we'll replace it over your old site. Or for people who've never had a site, we'll install it for you. Okay.
Okay. And James was wondering, is having testimonials necessary for someone who's building a website for the very first time?
You mean you having testimonials? You don't have to have a testimonial at first. I mean, a lot of people don't have testimonials when they start. So you don't have to have that.
Okay, and John says, isn't the biggest reason to avoid Squarespace is because you can't leave them without losing everything because you're using their software instead of WordPress?
Exactly. Exactly. So that's the problem with these other platforms is you get locked into them and you can't move, whereas WordPress is universal and you can go to any different hosting company. If you don't like your hosting company or something changes, you can easily move it. And also, well, I'll go into this more next week, but millions and millions of people are using WordPress, so there's a lot more support and there's a lot more that you can do.
Okay, James asked, will you be covering the creation of landing pages?
Yes, James, I'll be going over landing pages, and so you'll I teach that in my program. So let me just show you. I have a quick example. So let me go to. So this is my blog, right? This is my main website. Here's my home page. So it's my main website. Here's my blog. I'm logged in, so I see this top toolbar at the top. So I did a blog post on the Non-Techie's roadmap to website success, and then that links to my landing page. So this is my landing page. So a landing page is a page that has only one action to take, which is to download now. So you came to this landing page, you click to download now, and it asks you to opt in. So you put in your name. I'm just doing a little demo. Creation workshop.com. Now, I know this is silly, send me the info by email, but these dumb internet laws make you tell them, yeah, like it's obvious that you're going to email me, but that's why we have that in there. So now you click, so this is the landing page. Now I've landed on the thank you page, which invited you to this webinar today that you're on. And then it also says to check your email for the download. Check your email for the download. And then this was click here to claim your webinar seat, and then it popped open. This was my other landing page for the webinar. So I had two landing pages. One was for the opt-in to get the download, and then it led you and invited you to come to this webinar that you're on right now. Okay, hopefully that made sense. And again, next week, and you will also get an email. You could just, I think Joanna put it in the chat, you can sign up now, and if you, again, can't come to any of them, sign up anyway, then that way we know you're interested in. And if you sign up one and decide to come to another, no big deal. You can just sign up again.
Okay. And John said that wasn't silly because he likes knowing he'll get an email because
Yes.
he doesn't want to download it to his phone. So perfect. Okay. M was asking, do you only work with clients in the US or in Europe and other countries as well? And if you do, would it be possible to add additional languages to the website other than English?
Yes, and I'll probably show this next week. Webinar links. Is that the right name for it? Webinar
I
links
think
12.
that's,
Okay.
yes.
I teach people all over the globe. I forget, what is it, 42 countries, I think it is, that I've taught people. So I'll just pop open some of these examples of people who have built sites in other languages. Okay, so I think this is in Portuguese? Oh, we should find out what language this one is in. Christina Crawford, her site is in English, but you can switch to Spanish, and I teach you how to do this. So you can make a site that is bilingual in two different English or Spanish, or it can be purely in one. And I know, Joanna, we have a let's see, was this one? Oh, Sarah. Hers is in Italian. Oh, thank you, Sandra, for letting me know. This one's in Italian. So some people build sites, and this is just in Italian. I don't see she has a language switcher. This Reiki site, you can switch to English, so it's in English and Spanish. And at one point we had a gal who made a site in Japanese, but I don't remember where that is.
Okay, I think that answered.
And this one, let's Brigida, I don't know, does anybody here know what language this is?
I think we looked that up and it was in like Slovak or Czech or something like that.
Yeah. So we'll find that out and then we'll put that in here. So yes, it doesn't have to be all in English.
Okay. And Rhonda was wondering if what you think, should you have a video on your first page?
Well, I just want to get this page back up. Should you have a video on your first page? Well, that sort of depends. We do have students who do have video on their first page and some people don't. Okay, let me go back to my blog. I think, Joanna, we should have a link to my blog on this as well on our case studies page. That'll be easy for me too. Website creation workshop.com. Okay, I didn't type that in correctly. If you ever get that sign, it probably means you didn't type it in correctly. So I have this subtle video on my page. Other people have more active videos.
And James was wondering, is there a cost for the next training next week?
The training next week is free. So it is free. And that's where we roll up our sleeves and I go deep into WordPress.
Okay. So I don't know if he's asking about YouTube or Vimeo. You could use those on your website.
Do we have a list of video? Videos. Okay, here it is. Some people have videos on the homepage. Oh, I see. Here's the site. So sometimes, like for my graphics creation workshop and the website creation workshop, it's just kind of a visual thing. This gal has a video. She took my course. She's got a video on the home page. This is a church website, and they have a video on their home page. And this gal has a video on the home page. Now, some people have a video where it's them talking and saying hello and introducing themselves. So that could be appropriate as well. Again, all of these examples I've shown you are people who've taken the website creation workshop. Let me go to...
He said yes.
Okay, so I want to show you something else. So I'm going to look for... this guy is a psychologist, therapist, and he recorded a video, and then I embedded the YouTube video. So the video was created outside of the website. I got the video and then I uploaded it to YouTube and I embedded it on my site.
Okay, so another question that we had as far as, I know we mentioned using videos from Vimeo and YouTube.
Somebody said they were having trouble with the download. Can you put this, let me copy this.
Yeah, I can put that in the chat.
So the download, we'll send this in email as well. So here's the link. Someone was having trouble downloading. You click here to download and it pops it open, and then you can click the download button and download it to your computer. The other thing is you can right click, save link as, will that work? Yeah, and download. Maybe we should put, Joanne, on this page, download instructions.
Okay.
Yeah, so Kevin said the download worked great for him. So there's different ways to do a download. You can right click and save link as, and then it'll ask you where on your computer you want to save the PDF. Or you can click on it, it will open up Adobe, and then up here is the download and you can download it that way. So there's two different ways to do a download.
Okay, great. Yeah, Laverne says they got it, so perfect.
And it's okay if you're non-techie, right? As you've noticed, I go slow, I can repeat things, so if you're non-techie, that's not a problem.
Okay, I know Linda was having trouble, so Linda will, give that a try, what Christina just showed, and we'll send you an email as well. Okay. John typed in a comment, Christina, and he said, I've been doing this a long time, and Christina is great at explaining these normally difficult concepts. And he picked up some good insights today.
Okay.
So I wanted to share that.
Well, thank you for that.
And Rhonda said, what are the essential elements that you want to have on the very first page of your website?
So let's get the link for the, hold on. I'll get the link so people can opt in for that. It's not on the front page what I'm looking for, so I've got to add that. The essential, I'm clicking from my blog to get to the checklist opt-in. So I know some people just found out about me today, and that's the opt-in for the essential pages.
Okay. Let's see here. So I think Rhonda was asking more of what essential elements you want to have on the first page of your website, like an opt-in or, like a call button or testimonials.
Okay, hold on. Let me get, sorry, let me find. So on your home page, you definitely want an opt-in or a place for them to go. But, I cover that. She should go through that essential pages training because I've already gone through that. I know some people have already been through that, so I put that in here. So I would opt in for that.
Okay, sounds great.
And do we have this set up so that after they opt in and they click through, Joanna, do they get to the replay page?
I am going to have to look at that. I think it takes them to the page to opt in for the webinar, which would then take them to the replay page.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and Laverne said the website creation workshop has been a lifesaver. I love Christina's baby steps. Everything is so clear.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you for that.
So yes, so one of my students are here giving an endorsement saying that the website creation workshop has been a lifesaver. That is great, Laverne.
Okay. So Sonia says, I don't want my videos on YouTube. Is there a private site that you can use to hold your videos?
So you can put videos on YouTube and make them private. You can use Vimeo, or there's lots of different video hosting services, so they don't have to be public. The reason why you would want to have a video public is if you want it to be discovered. So if you want your videos discovered, put it up to YouTube and make it public. You can also have videos on YouTube that are not public, but they're not going to like it if all your videos are not public. So you should have some public ones. But Vimeo. I don't know if it's Vimeo or Vimeo, but I'm pretty sure it's Vimeo is another place
Yeah,
that you can host.
I don't either. They picked a weird name. Anyway, Mike was asking, what about making your site mobile friendly?
Yes, I cover that in the course.
Okay.
Is how to make your sites mobile friendly. And, an easy way to check it is to like change your browser and shrink it down, and then you can sort of see what it's going to do on a mobile phone. So that's an easy thing to do.
Okay, and Ian was wondering, are the themes and page builders that will be recommended in the course free or paid? Just curious.
So in my program, I recommend free themes, but I also recommend some paid themes. So some people want to use the paid themes, some people want to stick with the free themes. I help each person sort of navigate where they're at and sort of what kind of budget that they have.
Okay.
And John is making a suggestion. If you have videos on YouTube, it does help increase your SEO.
And James was wondering, is it a good idea to keep your videos in your web hosting?
Wow, now we're getting kind of deep into things, so I can quickly answer this. Uh, if your webinar is short, if your video is short, you could keep it in your web hosting, but it's generally better to have it on a third service provider.
Okay.
And let me just mention about the training next week. Where's that? This is virtual. This is not in person. So you can be anywhere. So I should have mentioned that. The website creation workshop is virtual. My masterclass next week is virtual. So yeah, you don't have to go anywhere.
Okay, so M had another question. Why do all the websites now have these annoying cookies? I don't understand what the symbols mean and thus don't know to accept or not.
Okay, I'm going to teach you a trick. So in your browser, either Chrome or Safari or Firefox, you can open a private window or an incognito window, and that when you go to a website, you can see how someone's experiencing it, where when you're on your own browser, you accept cookies so it won't pop up. But it's this stupid law that I think is ridiculous, but it's this dumb law that you have to let people know that you are setting a cookie, right? So the cookie just knows, have I been to this website before or not? I would not be afraid of cookies at all, so I always just say yes. So when you go to a website, did you see me do that? Let's see if it'll do it again. No, it's now remembering. See, it's remembering. Let me close this. Let me do that again. Does everybody know how to do a private browser? File, new private window. I think I have a training on that on my blog. Let me find that. Okay, hold on. All right. All right, I'll do this one more and then I'll show you where the training was on that. New private window. This is just to see how someone would be coming to your site for the very first time, and I have a little, accept the cookies. So let me go to my blog, and I think I I've got a lot of gold in my blog. So private browser. I know we're a little bit over time. No, maybe this was it. How to clear your browser cache. All right, that's kind of technical. I don't think I have an article on a private Windows, incognito window. All right, Joanna, if you can make a note. Let's see. I do have one on cookies.
Okay.
All right, am I getting off topic? I think I'm getting off topic.
I think we are a little bit, yes.
Sorry. So I have what is a cookie? So I'll put this in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
think
might
that's
help
what I was looking for. Yeah, there's a video.
Okay.
So here's an example. I wrote this article, and then I found a perfect video on YouTube that was somebody else's. This is what I'm going to teach you how to do next week. And then I give some cookie, thoughts on cookies. So I'll put this in the chat.
Okay, so Wayson was saying you showed a little bit earlier how you can like shrink your browser down to show how it looks like on a mobile phone, and it was fast, and they were asking if you could show that again slowly.
Ah, okay. So let's go to, I'll go to this one for the webinar. So I've got all these different landing pages. So this is for the essential pages. This one is for the masterclass. So up at the top, there's this little symbol to change the size of your browser. Have you ever played with that? So you can see when you shrink it down, and there's other ways in WordPress to do it. I teach that in my course, but this is just the simple way is, okay, how is it going to look on a mobile phone? Now, I have a site that is not mobile friendly. This is my very first business that I started, and I just kept the website up. This is not in WordPress. And let me shrink this down. See, it's not mobile friendly. See how it cuts stuff off? Right, so I keep this old site around so I can kind of explain that. So this is not mobile friendly. All right, hopefully that explained.
Okay, and Esther was just wondering what happens if you don't accept cookies?
I think if you don't accept cookies, the thing is just going to keep popping up. That's what I think happens. So.
Okay.
But again, don't be afraid of cookies. Cookies are like not a big deal. They help you know that you've been there or not, and it's really not something to worry about. But I would read that article I put in the chat. Yeah, I always accept the cookies. Again, it's not a big deal. All right, I think we need to sort of wrap this up because I know it's a holiday weekend. I like to, in all my trainings, give lots of value. So I want to give one more little tip. WPThemeDetector.com. If you find a website you like and you want to know what theme they are using, go to WP Theme Detector and type in the URL, and then it will show you what theme that they're using. So that's handy to have. Handy to know about. It takes a little while to run it. And
could you add that link to the chat, please, Christina?
So let's look at, what theme is Sarah using? Sometimes I can tell by looking at it. Well, it says at the bottom she's using the Spacious theme. But if we put in her site and So if you find a WordPress site you like, go to WP Theme Detector and it'll let you know what theme that they're using. And James, yes, I am familiar with Thrive themes. All right, this has been a really fun and lively interaction and discussion. So as you can see, based on the questions, I kind of covered different things. So you are welcome to come more than once for next week. And I will be opening enrollment for the website creation workshop. I'll open enrollment on Tuesday. So if you get on our early bird list, if we have an early bird list, you can get an email about when that is opening. Oh, I think it's at websitecreationclass.com. So if you want to get on the early bird, oh no, yeah, it's at the bottom here. Is that right, Joanna? They can either click to register for the webinar or they can get on the early bird list.
Yes.
So the early bird list, we will then email out that enrollment is open, or you'll get it when you come to the live webinar.
Okay. Let's see here. It looks like we got through all of the questions that we had.
All right. Well,
Kevin says thank you. So does James.
Okay, great. Well, go ahead and I'll put this in the chat one more time. We will send this out when we send out the replay. And for those of you who didn't come to the essential pages, we'll send you the replay for that as well. But I will be going through a whole bunch of, where did it go? Oh wait, where I was, sorry. Come next week. Come next week. It's going to go more in depth, more into WordPress specifically, and talk about exactly what's going to be included in my course, and come and ask questions. And Joanna, I think that's it. Is that it? Yes, I think
that sounds great.
Yes, we're done.
So.
Kind of wrapping this up here. As you notice, I like to do these live, interactive, kind of organic webinars. I don't like canned webinars as much, but there's definitely a place for them. We will be sending out the replay of this hopefully later today. We'll include other links in there as well. If you have any questions about this, you can always hit reply and email me. And I hope to see you next week on my Easily Create a Beautiful Website in WordPress, even if you hate technology. And with that, I will say I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.